We've seen some big names like Twitter, Facebook, Google announce their workforces will be operating remotely for at least the rest of the year due to COVID-19. A remote workforce is going to be something of our new normal moving forward. Are they on the rise?
Absolutely. And we've already seen a pretty big change with that. And I think we'll continue to as businesses start to slingshot out of COVID-19. So with our own experience at Employment Hero, we sort of had a suspicion that businesses were going to actually have a reasonably positive experience with a remote workforce and employees as well. We tried to prove that. So we actually did a survey of a whole bunch of people who had moved to remote first workforces during the COVID-19 period. So we had 1,200 respondents, and we found that the vast majority of employees both enjoyed their time working from home for the most part, and also where possible, they would actually like to do it permanently, at least in some capacity. And we found that kind of interesting because I think there's quite a bit of a general attitude of suspicion, or there has been an attitude of suspicion when people work from home. And I think that the last couple of months have certainly proved that that's not the case. And we think that COVID-19 has fundamentally just changed the way that businesses will work forever. So I think that any business who is looking to revert back to their normal business as usual processes of rigid hours, long commutes, inflexible management for their employees are going to find themselves left behind. And I think that businesses that are looking to introduce these flexible work policies stand to improve their desirability, increase their retention rate, and also just generally create a healthier and more productive workforce.
Forgive me for asking this, but what is a tech stack, and how do business owners ensure that theirs is remote ready?
Yeah, it's a good question. So a tech stack is very simply a series of digital tools, programs, apps, and platforms that businesses can use to run their business. So when you are looking at getting a more flexible workforce or a more remote workforce, it's really important that you have a tech stack that actually supports that. So as an example, at Employment Hero, we use Zoom for video conferencing, we use Slack for collaboration, we use tools like Asana and Confluence for planning, and we wouldn't be able to run the business the way that we do without those programs. And more than that, when you look at small businesses in Australia, who are the ones who've been suffering a lot of time the most out of all of this, we found that about 80% of small businesses in Australia don't have any platform in place to manage their employees. And what that means is if you think about all of the things that employees typically have to do as part of their role, they have to do timesheets and leave requests and performance reviews and change their details. They've been doing all of that on paper. And whilst that kind of works, if somewhat inefficient when you're in the office, when you take the office out of that equation, then it suddenly falls over. And so when you're looking at introducing more flexible policies for a business, it's really important that you're looking at a platform that allows you to employ your employees easily and compliantly without needing to be in the office. And that's essentially what Employment Hero does.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, Employment Hero, you're repositioning yourself, I guess, as that remote first workplace. So are you really the go-to in this space? How can people find you?
Yeah, it's a good question. So from our point of view, remote first working for Employment Hero essentially means that you can work from anywhere, whenever you need to. So when all of this hit, we were forced to work remotely 100%, as many businesses were. And after a couple of months of doing this, we surveyed our team and we found that about 75% of people who want to, about 75% of our staff would like to continue working from home on a permanent basis. And we're quite a lucky business in that we are able to, because we're all online, we're able to have every single employee in the business working remotely without a huge impact on their operation, massive impact with no impact. So we looked at the fact that the vast majority of our employees want to work remotely, at least in some capacity, and we can do it as business very easily. So it seemed like a no-brainer for us, and why wouldn't we? So it means a few things for us as a business, and I think these are lessons that can be taken for a lot of other companies, in that for our employees, it means that they can choose to work anywhere they want without where their office is being a factor. And that's quite a big thing, because if you think about the list of priorities that people have for where they live, where their office or where their workplace is located is typically pretty high on that list. And if you remove that and then ask people where they want to live, it's often quite different to where they are. So if as a business you can give your employees the opportunity to make that choice, then it's going to create a lot of loyalty to your business and increase your employee satisfaction. that also means that when you're looking to hire new employees, and a lot of businesses we're looking to do this as we slingshot out of COVID-19, when you are looking at your talent pool that's available, at the moment for a traditional business, you can only look at employees who are an easy commute to your office. But if you can cast that net a whole lot wider, then you are going to hugely increase the talent pool that you have available, which can only mean good things for the business. And aside from that, we think that offices in general are going to start to really transform. So at the moment, an office is where you go and do 100% of your work, but we think they're going to become a lot more dynamic environments where you go to collaborate and to bounce ideas off people and to socialize, right? And when people are looking to do more of that deep work where they don't necessarily need to be talking to people to do it, then they'll be encouraged to do it remotely.
Well, it sounds like a fantastic initiative. James, thanks so much for your time this morning.
It's a pleasure.